By the time the train had left the city, I had already forgotten all of the prefects' names. There were 2 for each house, a boy and a girl, and Natty had done her best to guide me through introductions, though keeping track of names and faces felt impossible. Still, I forced myself to engage. It wouldn't be wise to shrink into a corner just yet, not when I was in first class, where the snacks were excellent and everyone was being awfully polite. I knew why. A self-important Slytherin boy from some highly recognized pureblood family, whose name I'd just forgotten, had already taken it upon himself to explain how we might be distantly related through my grandfather. Congratulations? His enthusiasm, however, died the moment the Hufflepuff prefect asked me about my father. Mr. Pureblood refused to look me in the eye after that. I liked watching his face shift. But it wasn't until a Ravenclaw girl with bushy brown hair and prominent front teeth leaned forward that I got surprised.
Oh, Merlin's beard. Your mum is Samina Carve, isn't she? I can't believe she's finally coming to work for the British Ministry. Wasn't she responsible for the law that regulated the treatment of house elves? Made it illegal for their masters to mistreat them?
I blinked, caught off guard. In France, my mother's work had been met with suspicion, not admiration. Yes, I think she did that, I replied, offering a hesitant smile. The girl beamed.
Maybe she can enforce that law here too. What a progressive, marvellous woman.
She sipped her juice, keeping her gaze locked on me. Across from her, a girl in Slytherin green scoffed.
And what about our food at Hogwarts then, Henrietta? The house elves cook it. They do our laundry, clean the common rooms. What happens when they're all free to do as they please?
Henrietta rolled her eyes.
We're not babies, Imelda, or are you? I can clean and do my own laundry, thank you very much.
You and your stupid house elves.
Imelda muttered, crossing her arms.
Knock it off, you two.
Natty, looking embarrassed, threw me a side glance before stepping in.
We're prefects now. Maybe act like it?
I hesitated, feeling a familiar sensation stirring in my gut, the urge to defend, to protect, to attack. And just before my quickening heartbeat dreaded to force me into silence, I found myself saying, "My mum didn't change the relationship between wizards and house elves. It's in their nature to serve wizard kind. They want to. But some wizards treat them like vermin. She wants house elves to be recognized more as employees, not property. Wizards in France aren't banned from keeping house elves, they're just prevented from hurting them." A pause. I braced myself. Then Henrietta nodded, her expression serious.
That's still great progress,
she said firmly.
Though I think house elves should be treated as equals.
Imelda rolled her eyes again.
Whatever.
I exhaled, feeling the restlessness in my chest settle, satisfied for now with my performance. Exhaustion swept over me, yet one reassuring thought surfaced. Maybe British students weren't all bad. The journey stretched on for what felt like an eternity. Logically, I knew the trip from home to Beauxbatons had been longer, but time tends to play tricks, and my squirming among model students seemed like the perfect chance for it to mess with me.
Just follow me,
Natty said as we stepped off the train.
The first years cross the river by boat, but I'm guessing you don't want to sit in a boat with a bunch of 11-year-olds?
You assume correctly. The crowd of students swarmed around us, heading toward the carriages. I trailed behind Natty, trying to ignore the glances sent my way. Ahead of us, Henrietta and the Hufflepuff prefect, was it Norman, were in deep conversation about Hogwarts' infamously unpleasant headmaster, while Imelda and Mr. Pureblood hurried past us, eager to claim their spots first. I ended up with Natty, her prefect colleague, and Natty's best friend, Nellie. My stomach lurched along with the self-pulling vehicle. I forced myself to breathe evenly. Almost there. The castle was magnificent, dark and sprawling against the night sky. Hundreds of tiny windows glowed from within, casting flickers of golden light over the black lake. A shiver ran through me. Beauxbatons had been grand, perhaps even bigger, but it had never made me feel small like this. I had never been alone there. My brother Nervan had been there. Well, until he wasn't.
Wait until you see the feast,
Natty said excitedly as we climbed out of the carriage.
I'm starving, aren't you?
I had plenty of food on the train, I answered absently. My stomach had been tied in knots for hours. I doubted I could eat a single bite. We started up a long flight of stairs, the aching tiredness behind my eyes outweighed by adrenaline. "Does the sorting happen before or after dinner?" I asked.
Before.
Natty replied.
Unfortunately, we have to wait until everyone is sorted before we can eat.
That came as a relief. At least it would be over soon. Inside, the great hall stretched impossibly high, its enchanted ceiling mimicking the night sky, twinkling stars across an endless void. Floating candles hovered in midair, casting a soft glow over the 4 long tables, each beneath its house banner.
You can sit with us at the Gryffindor table until the first years arrive,
Natty offered, gesturing toward the red and gold lion crest. I slid onto the bench, my fingers curling around the edge of the table, gripping it until my knuckles showed. I could feel the eyes and whispers, like faint tickles on my nape. But most students were too caught up in their reunions, swapping stories of summer adventures. Then, the doors swung open. A hush fell over the room as the first years were led inside. A sea of nervous, wide-eyed faces. At their head, Professor Weasley strode forward, guiding them toward the podium, where an ancient, worn hat rested atop a stool. I barely registered what she was saying.
I think you need to join them now.
Natty murmured, giving my back a light pat. Dread twisted in my stomach. Slowly I stood, sneaking into the line of first years. I wasn't much taller than most of them, which made it slightly less humiliating. Still, the looks around me felt hot on my face. One by one, the sorting hat shouted its verdict.
Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Slytherin, Ravenclaw.
And then
Ninakov.
a ripple of whispers spread through the great hall, louder in my imagination, probably, than in reality. I forced myself forward, climbed the steps, and sat. The hat slipped over my eyes, heavy and scratchy, nearly swallowing my face. Then a voice, deep and ancient, filled my mind.
Difficult, very difficult. A quiet one, comfortable in the shadows, but still, a hunger to prove yourself. Always underestimated. The Carves. Yes, I remember. People never expect too much of you, do they? Constantly overlooked.
I stiffened. It was unsettling, how easily it could pick me apart.
I see bravery, loyalty, kindness, but also a sharp mind and ambition. The question is, where to put you? Ah, you're worrying again, aren't you? Whether you're a burden, whether these people will ever accept you. You don't owe them anything, you know. Now, tell me, are you willing to trust my decision?
I hesitated, then whispered, "Yes."
Good.
A long pause, and then when I started pulling my shoulders up into a shrug.
Slytherin!